Hey, so what's going on, everyone? So, if you are seeing this, then you know that last week I did an unboxing for my Pastbook, Raider 434 by C.L. Williams. So, inside this book are all of the book covers for the books I've written, the anthologies I'm in, and a couple other goodies. So, I mentioned last week that the front cover is the long sleeve shirt you've probably seen me wear in some of my videos. And to anyone who wants a t-shirt, message me on Instagram and we will see to it that you get a shirt. Let's open this thing. Now, I do want to warn everyone first before I start showing this off. The first few books I did, the resolution for those pictures are not that good. That is not on Pastbook. That is my fault because I don't have the best pictures from when I initially started showing those off. But this is my very first book I did, Notebook of the Mind, The Prelude. This book, along with the next two I'm going to be showing off, are out of print. However, I am possibly going to do some sort of collection that will feature the other books or feature the poems from these that are no longer available. But this is my very first book I did. And for those that don't know, C.L. Williams is a pen name, Luke Wood's my real name. I initially did write all of my stuff underneath my real name. That is my second one, Shadows and Sunshine. Again, this book is out of print. To anyone who wants me to do the collection book sooner rather than later, just comment down below. So Awakening with a C, this particular version is out of print. This is also the cover that many of you are not familiar with. Most of you that have Awakening with the C, y'all got this cover. And shout out to Elliot. He was my editor for Awakening with the Sea and Lies of the Fearless. So in 2011, I arranged and appeared in an anthology called Yesterday and Tomorrow. That was a while ago. But yeah, a lot of my friends are also very talented in their own right. And this was a way for me to take the opportunity to show off their work as well. There's Lies of the Fearless. That's poetry book number 4. This one is still available. I do want to let everyone know now, if you haven't read my stuff prior to Approaching Humanity, this book got a lot of mixed responses. That being said, the people that do like Lies of the Fearless have told me that even to this day, it is their favorite book of mine. We got Aspects of Love. So you're going to see this one again because I did re-release this one when I started writing stuff under the name C.L. Williams. So funny thing about Aspects of Love. Whenever people first discover my books and find out that I write poetry and stuff, for some reason, this is always the book that people go to check out my stuff for the first time. Don't know why, but that's what they do. So, More Than a Million Words. This is the second anthology that I put together. If you've seen my signed book haul, then you know that this book led to a couple of different opportunities for myself and some other people. One of the authors in here, Ray, him and I co-wrote a book. Mary, one of the other authors in here, she did the cover for that book, as well as some of the other covers for other books of mine. Veering Straight Ahead. This is my first fiction book. Essays and short stories. It's not a bad book, but I will say if you want to check out my fiction stuff and you've only read my poetry, this is... I don't even know if I could say this is a sign of like what was to come, but this was the first time of me wanting to show that I could do more than just poetry. At the time, I thought this book was amazing. Looking back, I could have done better. And like I said, Wretched Scars. This is my first co-written book. Burning Thoughts and Flooding Ideas. For anyone that is wondering, no, the camera is not messed up. That is actually how the cover looks. At the end of this video, I will show a picture of the actual book so you can see for yourself that this is indeed how it looks in person. Then we've got Approaching Humanity. If you've seen me at conventions, out of all the books that are on my table when I go to conventions and festivals, this is the oldest book. And then we've got Meta, which is my best-selling book. And a lot of you that are watching this, you probably own this or have at least read some of the poems in it. This one's one of the ones I showed off in the unboxing video. So Three Crowns is the last book that I wrote under the name Luke Wood. And then right next to it is The Paradox Complex, the first book I wrote as C.L. Williams. So this was not a book. For those that don't know, I have done a couple of collaborations with Matthew Mark Hunter of MMH Productions. And one of the projects that he did was he turned my poem Sad Crying Clown from the Paradox Complex into a short film for his YouTube channel. He has an IMDb page for his stuff. So yes, I have an IMDb page for those that don't know. This is the promo poster he did for IMDb. This is Tales of the Empowered. I did not write in this one. This was a Kickstarter I backed, and I got to create a character that's in this book. And they wrote a short story based off the character I created. The Escape of Ernest Frost, my first novel. Poets Are Heroes. This one is the third issue in the Poets Are Heroes series. I have a quote in this one. And this is my first ever magazine appearance. Which is kind of funny because the next one is The Valiant, which is my second ever magazine appearance. My poem, Flawed Masterpiece, appears in The Valiant issue 3. Then we go over to novella number 2, Dream Awake. Mystery Monster 13. This was my first time collaborating with JEA Press, as well as Roma Gray, the editor. Shades of BWWM. There's my name. This is the first time my name's appeared on a cover for an anthology. And also, this book is only available digitally, so this is like the closest thing to seeing it in physical form. Summer Solstice, once again, as you can see, my name is the first one on here. And then there's the re-release of Aspects of Love. For anyone that's bought this book from me at conventions and festivals, this is likely the cover you've seen. Sideshow. This is my first appearance in a Sammy Sands anthology. Ghostly Rights Anthology 2018. This was where I wrote Wingreen Possession, which has since become its own short story series. Sweet Candy Delights. This one's a family-friendly Halloween short story collection that I was featured in. This book's now out of print. One of the stories got rewritten for Portal. The other one I have yet to re-release. The Next Step. This one's my third novella. Then we've got Evil Lurks, my second appearance in a Sammy Sands anthology. Vault of Terror, Volume 2. This was my first time working with Raven's End Press. There's my name down there. And my story was the closing one in this book. I always thought that was kind of cool. So I don't have both Next Step, First Valentine's, and the Next Step novella collection because they all have the same cover. But long story short, the only difference in the covers between the Next Step novella collection and Next Step First Valentine's is right there. It says novella collection. On the cover of First Valentine's, that would say First Valentine's. Demons of Solomon. That's a short story collection I was featured in. That one's also now out of print. Starting Over. This one's out of print, but I can confirm that my story I wrote in this is currently in the process of being edited to appear in another anthology. Pandemic. This was my third appearance in a Sammy Sands anthology. Poets Are Heroes, issue 4. My third magazine appearance, and this one features my poem Heroes Need Heroes. Mischief and Clovers, St. Patrick's Day themed short stories. Tamale. So even though you've seen multiple anthologies prior to this one, outside of the ones I put together, this was actually the first anthology I got accepted for. Poets of Hydra Volume 1. After Undead Wars, this one is my fourth appearance in a Sammy Sands anthology, and I've got 2 stories in that one. Bleeding Hearts. This one's now out of print, but this featured my short story, Cindy's Wish, which ultimately ended up being turned into Cindy's Choice, my first ever #1. Magic Medics Medicine. My story is currently being rewritten because this is now out of print, and I am trying to get my story, The Blood Cure, re-released very soon. Flash Fiction Addiction. This is actually my only appearance in a Zombie Pirate publishing anthology, but I got to give a shout out to Sam and Adam because there's another thing coming up in this book later that they had a hand in. Let's Try Love. I did a story in this one called Unexpected Love. This was done for a charity, so once it raised its money, it went out of print. I can confirm now that story is being rewritten and being published in another anthology. Hop Along Tales. I've got 2 Easter stories in this one. It's currently out of print, but one of my stories that appears in this one is currently scheduled to appear in another book soon. Technology Gone Mad. Once again, another book that's out of print, but I'm currently looking at possibly re-releasing the story. Planet Random Universe, this was a Kickstarter I backed. I created a character and that character appears in issue number 5. Author's Gone Bonkers, I've got 2 essays in there. Universal Oneness, this was one of the many times that Homecoming has been published. Worlds, Dark Drabbles number 1, the first of many Black Hair Press anthologies you're going to see in this. Organic Ink Volume 1. This one's now out of print, but I am currently getting those poems published elsewhere. Rise Above. This one featured the poem Rise Above. If you've ever been to my second channel, then you've heard me read the poem. Dark Drabbles number 2. Feathers and Fiends. Stop Bullying Now. Again, this was a Kickstarter I backed, and they put my poem Rise Above in the opening part of the book. Monsters, Dark Drabbles number 3. Poetica. And this video will probably go up before my unboxing video of Poetica 2. Ghostly Romance Volume 1. Emoji Between the Sheets. I had to write a short story using 3 random emojis. This book is out of print. The story I did is a little too quirky for publication, so it'll probably end up on my blog in the near future. Storming Area 51. So I want to let everyone know now, out of the anthologies that I have been in thus far, this is probably my favorite one. Beyond Dark Drabbles number 4. We Know the Truth, Do You? There's my name. And in this one, this book was compiled by Terry Wilson. For those that don't know, she did the editing and the covers for both Playing Games and Cindy's Choice. Gleam. This is a short story or a flash fiction collection. I actually have a micro fiction story in there. Mayhem on All Hallows Eve and Abhorrence, both of these are out of print. However, my story appears in Tales from the Forbidden Forest. And my short story in here was the prototype for what ended up becoming Tales from the Forbidden Forest. Dark Drabbles number 5. Samhain Secrets Volume 1. Micro Hallow Fiction. Secret Societies Anthology. Scary Snippets Halloween. So my story in here ultimately ended up being part of Tales from the Forbidden Forest, and the short story appeared in Demonic Bites. Shout out to Natalie for letting me do that. The Beginning of Everything. This one's also out of print. However, I am currently in the process of getting my short story revised and cleaning it up a little bit for another publication. Eerie Christmas. Oops, sorry for putting my finger in front of the lens. Never Too Far Away. Dark Drabbles number 6. Apocalypse. Scary Snippets, the Christmas edition. Organic Ink Volume 2. So that book is also out of print, but I am in the process of getting my poems published again. Dark Moments Year 1. That features my 5 Club Drabble, which is connected to the Windgreen saga. Lucifer's Lost Love, my first release of 2020, my first bestseller on my own. Portal, children's short story collection that I'm featured in. Troubled Waters, Bad Romance, the 2020 sampler. So I did this just to have something new on my tables for conventions, because I had some, I don't want to say I had complaints, but I did have a lot of people ask, why was I only featuring anthologies? So I put this together because I knew, regardless of what happened with 2020, my plans for 2020 were to always do digital, smaller books with print compilations coming out later in the year. This thing sold a lot more than I was expecting it to. Scary Snippets, the Valentine's edition. Oh, I will say this to anyone who's a fan of the show You on Netflix. That was my inspiration for my story in this one. Playing Games. Cursed. So my story in Cursed could, because this book went out of print, I had it re-edited. Shout out to Julianne for doing some editing on my story, Only the Beginning, which appears in the print release of Tales from the Forbidden Forest. Dark Drabbles 7 and Dark Drabbles 8. Love and Hate. And I'm about to skip a page. Painted Memoirs. This is the original cover. You're going to see the more recently released cover. Malediction. This was another Sammy Sands anthology I'm featured in. I kind of went B-movie with my stories. Scary Snippets Easter Edition. So, I never did feature this one on my channel before, but when Natalie was asking for ideas, suggestions, and requests, I don't know if I was the only person, so I don't want to take full credit or anything like that. But I was one of the people that said, hey, do an Easter one, because I really wanted to do something about a killer bunny. Oceans, Dark Drabbles 9. Vault of Terror, Volume 3. One of Us. This one also features one of my Wind Green stories. Fatal Fairies. It's a Drabbles collection. Scratches. Cindy's Choice. Who's Who of Emerging Writers, 2020 edition. Featured this one in a couple of my videos before, because I also did videos for the Book of Books and I, the Writer. Tales of the Empowered 2. Once again, like the first one, I backed a Kickstarter. I got to create a character, and this guy right here in the purple is my character. So this time around, my character managed to make the front cover. Demonic Bites. Reflections. Words of the Heart. Sector Omicron. Beyond the Grave. The Book of Books. Rise Above. So this was the first poem I did that went to streaming services. So this one's not a book cover. This one's technically an album cover. Midnight Riders. At the time of this video, this is the most recent appearance of Homecoming. And that's also my first time working with ink feathers. Ancients, Dark Drabbles number 10. Tales from the Forbidden Forest. I believe I've mentioned this one quite a few times in here. Halloween Hell, which is my most recent Sammy Sands anthology appearance. As I Learned to Fly, my second time appearing in an Ink Feathers anthology. Painted Memoirs, this is the up-to-date cover. This is the one I featured on my channel earlier in an unboxing video. Homecoming, that's the album artwork for that one. Regroup from the Remains. This was the last of the Chaos Fusion releases. Shout out to Katie. She's the one who did the cover. She also did the editing. And shout out to Adam and Sam that I mentioned earlier. They were the ones that issued the challenge that resulted in me writing this. Chaos Fusion. Until then, there's coffee. This is the most recent anthology appearance I've done. It is my first 2021 book. There's the screenshot of Cindy's Choice being a number 1. And I closed it out with my logo. And then that's it. And this book was made by Pastbook. So thank you everyone for watching. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. I'm going to have the Pastbook social media links as well as their website in the description below, so you can give them a like, give them a follow, maybe even make your own Pastbook. And I will be featuring my own social media links down below as well. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I have a second channel where I read my poetry. Hope everyone liked this. Hope you got to enjoy a little bit of the nostalgia. Hopefully you enjoyed looking at my Pastbook. I definitely recommend these guys. They were amazing. And that does it for this video. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.